Do you know in the NBA, players are entitled to fly first class on all flights longer than an hour? A head coach can bump a player out of first class, but if only a player is already flying up front. When a player is injured and needs an orthopedic surgeon, the agreement says players should be treated by one surgeon, not several. You won't believe some of the strange regulations that the league has in place. But don't worry, we'll break it all down for you in a funny and entertaining way, so sit back, relax, and get ready to learn about the weirdest rules in the NBA. Let's get started. The no shatter rule. If a player dunked so forcefully during a game that they break the backboard, the point is nullified, and the offending player is given a non-unsportsmanlike conduct technical foul. Under no circumstances that the player be ejected from the game. There are only a handful of NBA players that shattered the backboard in NBA history. Gus Johnson did it 3 times, Charlie Hurts did it and caused the game to be cancelled. Darryl Dawkins and Shaquille O'Neal shattered the backboards, forcing the NBA to increase the steel brace strength and increase stability. This is when a technical foul for backboard shattering was also introduced. But with all the physical demands placed on players, it's important that they also have the time to rest and recover. That's why the NBA has a rule in place requiring players to have a certain amount of mandatory rest each season. This is pretty self-explanatory, but the league requires that players receive at least 18 days of compulsory rest per season. This keeps coaches from overworking the players and possibly risking harm or injury due to fatigue. However, the practice has also faced criticism from some fans and media members who argue that it reduces the competitiveness of the league and the players should be able to play through fatigue. And that's what they're paid for. This is really a loose rule, and one thing is for sure. The people who paid a hefty amount of price to see their favorite players will be devastated. Imagine paying to see Kawhi to play for the first time with the money that you saved for 2 months, only to find out that game day that he is not playing. I say game day because they announced this last minute. How about announce it 2 weeks before? That is fair, I think. Then let the fans decide if they still want to buy the tickets or not. Well, enough with load management, but don't worry, we got a few more weird and wacky rules of the league to explore. For example, do you remember those propulsion shoes in 2010? The ones that were banned from the league for giving players an unfair advantage? Yes, those were a thing. While the NBA generally allows players to wear whatever athletic shoes they want, propulsion shoes are not allowed since they provide players with an unfair advantage. In 2010, the NBA banned the use of a type of shoe called the propulsion shoes, which were designed to enhance a player's vertical jump. These shoes were created by a company called Astrowear, and they featured a unique design that was intended to provide players with extra lift when jumping. However, the NBA determined that the propulsion shoes provided players with an unfair advantage and banned their use in the league. There were controversies back and forth, and the NBA stuck by its decision and prohibited the use of the propulsion shoes in the league. This meant that the players were no longer allowed to wear the shoes during the games, and any player who was found to be wearing that would be subject to fines and other penalties. Now that we talked about the controversial ban on propulsion shoes in the NBA, let's shift our focus to another important aspect of player attire in the league: clothing rule. As we mentioned earlier, the NBA has a set of rules in place to ensure that players are dressed in a professional and uniform manner while they are on the court. As long as the numbers chosen are available and have not been retired by the team, the league doesn't have many restrictions on players' jersey numbers. However, 2 players on the same team are not permitted to wear number 0. Only 1 person per team is allowed to employ the 0 or 00. A 00 and a 0 cannot be on the same team. The league has a specific dress code that specifies how players should dress for both game day and business environments. But I'm not sure if this is still being implemented today. If it is, there should be a felony right here. This one is probably put you in jail for 1 year. I'm just kidding. It's time to move on to another crucial aspect of the game, which is ball handling. And let's be real, the only thing more embarrassing than showing up to a game wearing the wrong color of socks is accidentally kicking the ball with your foot. Trust us, we've all been there. That's why the NBA has a strict no kicking the ball rule in place. Actually, the law only applies to striking the ball. This means that in addition to the usual use of hands, any deliberate action that alters the path of the ball is regarded as striking. The ball is flipped over if someone purposely punches, strikes, shoulder bumps, or uses any other part of their body to change the direction of the ball. In order to protect fans, the punch rule was implemented. Imagine a pure unit such as Steven Adams or LeBron James diving into the stands, and the only way to save it is to punch it. However, what if he takes a full swing, misses the ball, and the skinny 130-pound man sipping a Pepsi is on the receiving end of that punch? These are just some of the weird NBA rules, but these rules are set in place to ensure that games are played fairly in a professional manner. While some of these rules may seem strange or unusual to some people, they are an important part of the league's guidelines and are necessary for the overall functioning of the league. Overall, these rules help to maintain the integrity and image of the NBA, and they help to ensure that players are able to focus on playing the game to the best of their abilities. Stay tuned for more videos, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.